Ladies and gentlemen, live from the West Bank of the Flats, it's your boy LG with Cleveland Sports 360. Today's guests on the Cleveland Sports 360 show, Indians pitcher Vinny Pestano, and also Oscar Lopez of the LFL Gridiron Beauties. And now, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, the host of Cleveland Sports 360, LG.
Hey, Happy New Year, Cleveland. Welcome back to the Cleveland Sports 360 show. I've been getting a ton of emails, Kenyon. Everybody's been missing the show. We took a break for the holiday season, like my man Kenyon said. Tonight, we're going to have Indians relief pitcher Vinny Pestano join us from Phoenix, Arizona, where he's out there doing some off-season training, getting ready to meet with the pitchers and the catchers. Are going to report in, I believe, about 47 more days from today. So spring's just around the corner. We got Oscar Lopez joining us from Gridiron Beauties, the LFL fan club site that is a Facebook sensation. He helps support the ladies of the LFL. As you know, Cleveland Sports 360 has kind of taken on Mitch Martaza's LFL head-on, and we've exposed this fella for a lot of mishaps that happen to these young ladies playing lingerie football. And Mitch Martaza really doesn't take care of the talent in the LFL. You may have remembered a few weeks back we had a show, and one of the girls was complaining that Mitch Martaza never, ever used a black athlete in any kind of advertisements, any kind of a brochure. He didn't put up the big posters around the stadium. It was all the white players. Well, I'm proud to announce, because of the Cleveland Sports 360 show and Kenyon Johnson over here at ClevelandTalkSports.com, we got Mitch Martaza finally used a black athlete in one of their promotional pieces. And believe me, Mitch Martaza...
We shall overcome.
We did. We overcame. We overcame Mitch Martaza's, I don't know if you want to call it prejudice or what, but it was funny. The next day after the Cleveland Sports 360 show aired, that's when Martaza put the black athlete Roach, the running back for the LFL. Roach was on his door at the LFL headquarters, which looks like it's in the corner of a McDonald's or something. I'm not really sure where that is.
Wow.
But
who's Roach?
Mary was her name. Mary Rose Roach is a running back for the.
So the first black person that he puts on name has to be Roach.
Hey, she's a great running back, Kenyon, man. I mean, what can I tell you? But we're going to get into it a little bit with Oscar Lopez from the Gridiron Beauties. Around 6:30, we're going to go to Phoenix, Arizona, live with my man, Vinny Pestano. I believe Vinny's one of the most consistent pitchers we have coming out of the bullpen. He closed a few games for Manny Acta last year. It made Vinny a little bit nervous. We're going to get into it with Vinny. We're going to see what happened to the Tribe last season, hear what Vinny's take is on it, the Tribe's pitching staff, how they're doing, what they're going to do to prepare for this season, and how they plan to contend for the division title against the Detroit Tigers. But, hey, how many people saw Tebow yesterday, man? You got to admit, that's kind of scary if you think about it. Tim Tebow threw for exactly 316 yards passing, which is John 3:16, Tebow's favorite phrase all through college. I don't know if everybody knew it or not, but Tebow's face paint used to contain John under one eye with 3:16 under the other eye. So for you that are not familiar with John 3:16, for God so loved his only son that he gave him to us, that we may believe in him and have an eternal life. So Tim Tebow threw for 316 yards, and it had to go to overtime, but it's uncanny that it just happened to be exactly 316 yards to hit that pass, and Denver won the game. And the best part of it, ladies and gentlemen, Ben Roethlisberger has all offseason to soak his poor ankle. Compliments of the Cleveland Browns, by the way. The Cleveland Browns defense did a great job. Next week on the Cleveland Sports 360 show, coming at you live from right here, the Cleveland Talk Sports studios on the West Bank of the Flats, we're going to reunite the Cleveland Sports 360 show with the Browns bunch, and we're going to be talking Cleveland Browns draft. obviously those guys from the Brown Bunch, they're great tailgate partiers. They do a hell of a job getting everything going in the Muni lot, and they've seen a lot of Browns football. Romeo Cornell, the only coach of the Cleveland Browns that ever took the team to a playoff game, just landed himself a full-time gig over in Kansas City. I guess that's what happens when you beat the Green Bay Packers, man. They were an undefeated team, and Romeo Cornell handed them a loss. So obviously Romeo got a job. He's the only coach. We're going to get it with the Browns bunch next week, and we're going to find out what their viewpoint is and what the Cleveland Browns, Mike Holmgren, Tom Heckert, and Pat Shurmur need to do to get on track to get this team back to winning football games. Right now, joining us live on the phone from Gridiron Beauties, all the way from Monterey, California, we have Oscar Lopez. Oscar, you there, buddy?
Hey, Larry, how's it going? I'm there.
Hey, it's going great, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Doing good. Tebow moment, huh?
Absolutely.
Tebow from yesterday.
Absolutely, man. Hey, tell us a little bit about Gridiron Beauties. Tell the fans out there, what's it all about, Oscar?
Well, we have a devoted following base internationally and domestically. It has to do with supporting the Lingerie Football League players first and foremost. And what we do is our focus is basically to admire and devote time to their doings off the field primarily, and obviously any modeling that they are doing. We're supporting them in that way by sharing and keeping things in the same light to the fans, letting them know what's going on off the field, as well as what's on the field on a weekly basis.
Now, Oscar, by no way are you connected with Mitchell Martaza. Is that correct?
Yeah, no, we're not in any way affiliated with the league directly. So we're just basically a fan-based page that I started back in 2010. And like I said, we have a lot of followers. Want to give a shout-out to all our Canadian fans, as well as our domestic U.S. fans from Seattle, Chicago, and all in between.
Now, when you say you're supporting the ladies of the LFL, explain that to us a little bit. They don't really get any support financially from Mitchell Martaza or the LFL League at all, do they?
That's correct. I mean, at this point, like I said, the league, as we talked earlier before, the league basically at this point is more of an amateur league. It was at one point considered pro league for the first 2 years, and apparently things have changed from my understanding. So at this point, the only thing we do is basically support the players on Facebook or Twitter by interacting with them on a daily or if not weekly basis, and then staying informed with what they're doing and outside doings in terms of how they're compensating themselves, either through modeling or outside endeavors. You know firsthand that obviously all these women that are participating in the sport have all the intangible situations with injuries and stuff. So some of them obviously are holding jobs, their parents, their mothers, their daughters. You know, they got other things they're supporting themselves with income to obviously play the game that they're playing within the NFL.
Now, Oscar, when you say you're supporting them, is there any financial support that you help these ladies make a living? Let me just get down to the bare necessities. Do you help them financially whatsoever?
No, I in no way do I help them financially. I mean, the only way we're supporting them is, like I said, with exposure by sharing and doing things on Twitter and Facebook that would get them noticed or exposed to something that they would get an opportunity from. We're just basically devoted fans that obviously love the league in overall, but obviously we love the player more than the league at this point because the player is what makes the league.
Okay, but you're bringing credibility to the lady, in other words, then. You're probably promoting the individual athlete, let's say, so that they can get a modeling job or they can get some more exposure and hopefully other opportunities open up through that pathway. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, we're trying to be an avenue to make sure that everybody understands that the league is a good league. Obviously, mismanagement or management in itself is a totally different issue. But we're trying to make sure that everybody knows that these players are doing everything in their power to compete, and they're competing at a high level. And in terms of that, they're also everyday people like the rest of us holding out the job and actually committing so much time to this type of sport that obviously hasn't yielded them any type of benefit at this point.
Now, Oscar, do you meet one-on-one or do you meet with groups of ladies? What's your interaction with the athlete themselves? Have you had quite a bit?
The only interaction that I've had is a couple players themselves, but for the most part, we're a social media platform, so we interact with pretty much about 240 ladies on a daily, if not weekly basis, and we interact with them either through the Twitter interface or the Facebook page that we have, and we have a lot of them that follow us because of the same way that we are obviously very supportive in their cause, and hopefully, down the road, this will be a full-fledged pro league with some union benefits and obviously some perks and obviously some intake.
So whether it's through social media or not, you do communicate with the ladies most of the time. Then it's fair to say, right?
Yeah, we do a lot of everyday interaction with them. We refrain from making so many things so critical because what happens is they're on a fine line, and it's something that we're not going to dwell into, but we are going to be supportive in a way where they're able to blossom in a different manner while the league obviously situates itself to maybe a pro league in the future.
So the problem is when you talk about this fine line, is that the fine line between how much the women can get involved with outside sources before Mitch Martaza takes some sort of an action against them and possibly boots them out of the lingerie league?
We've had some feedback, Larry, as you've posted and have actually dwelled into the situation previously on your shows. We have had that feedback before in terms of them being limited to some sort of access outside. So at this point, it's case by case and lady by lady. So in our state, we have not had any negative, repercussions to any players that we've obviously contacted or have been involved with over social media.
So it's fair to say now you're in Monterey, California. There's how many teams left in California, lingerie football league wise?
The only team is the team that obviously we basically are more involved with, or go to see more often. Obviously, is the Los Angeles team. We have not been able to get over to Vegas yet, but we plan on doing that this year to be more of a supportive role in that regard. Because
you guys lost the San Diego team, is that correct?
Yeah, the seduction was obviously removed for, I don't know what the reasonings were, but at this point it's obviously was either financial reasons from what the league states.
Well, that's Mitch Martaza's way. I mean, anybody that doesn't get out on the street and beat their feet and sell some tickets to fill the seat, Martaza finds a way to get rid of that team. I mean, he did the same thing in Miami, Florida. He did the same thing in Dallas, from what I understand. And I guess that's basically what happened to the San Diego team. But were you involved with the San Diego players back then when they did have a team, Oscar? Did you have any?
I was involved with a couple players in terms of just over the internet as to what the situation was at the time. I was told and just informed based in general comments that obviously the team was disbanded. It is not. It basically, they haven't ruled out the fact that they might bring it back, but at this point they have not ruled out that they're going forward with any.
But that was a pretty good football team, from what I understood. Am I being led down the wrong path, or was it a good football team?
Yeah, they had various players that obviously were very talented. You have Amber Reed now in Los Angeles. You have Audrey Lasco also in Los Angeles now. So some of the seduction players, some of the top tier players on that team are now pretty much on the Temptation team currently in this year.
So a lot of the girls that used to play for the San Diego team relocated, or do they commute all the way to Los Angeles now to take part in this LFL football, right?
That's correct, Larry.
Now the Gridiron Beauties, you guys have a website too, where if, let's say you're a lingerie football fan and you want to support one of your ladies, or that you like your favorite player, they can get some merchandise from Gridiron Beauties. Isn't that right, Oscar?
What we have is what we did is we paired up with Zazzle.com, and what they do is they give us a platform to where anybody can go to the site, and on our site, on our page, we promote the No Joke football gear, which is basically a slogan that we came up with to make sure that the fans understand that obviously the LFL competition and the game itself is obviously a no-joke game. It's a real game, real injury, real football. So anybody can go there and create any type of shirt with a slogan or type of font, and they can create their own to support their player. So we don't do any type of arrangement with the player in terms of compensation, but we do have a venue where fans, if they're supporting a certain player, because obviously the player doesn't get that affordability with the LFL shop unless you're some sort of top tier Mitch Martaza player that obviously he's promoting. Then at that point you will see that in the arenas. Otherwise, your favorite player, 14 or 20 of the girls, you're not gonna see a shirt for every girl like you do in the NFL, where you can afford a jersey for them. So our platform allows customizing from an individual fan to maybe support a certain player on a particular team.
Well, say somebody wants to support their favorite LFL player. How does one go about getting a hold of your site there, guys? Give us a shout-out to tell the fans out there how to get to this site and what they need to do, Oscar.
All right, great. You can link it on our fan page. You can always go to Twitter. We're always feeding that site on there. The site is www.zazzle.com, ZAZZLE.com/Gridiron Beauties. And that'll take you directly to the site, and obviously you can start customizing your shirts, and there's a lot of shirts already pre-customized there with some slogans, but you're always able to do it on your own and create your own if that's the case based on styles and colors.
And the fan page you mentioned, I'm assuming that's a Facebook fan page. Is that correct?
Yeah, we have a Facebook page. It's Gridiron Beauties on Facebook, and we also have a Twitter page at Gridiron Beauty on Twitter. So we interact there every day with just about everybody in terms of media and in terms of general former players from the LFL as well as current players that are currently playing in the league.
Now, Oscar, through some of the former players that you've come in contact with, has any of these ladies actually excelled into anything very much more professional than the LFL, further their career that you know of?
Yeah, we have various players. We have I know of Crystal Gray, who has a training facility. I know Brittany Tegler out of Baltimore has a athletic sports trainer modeling profession. We have various former players that obviously right now are in business venues in terms of music. They're involved in music, or they're involved in some sort of a business retail action. So some of them have, evolved, and they've gone to have business, careers, and obviously there was a platform for them to get exposure. Others are basically full-time models. There's some that are actually lawyers, like Nikki Gazian from the LA Temptation, who obviously is the profound, a lawyer in California. And then you also have like Laura Cavender, who started in 2009, who's a world-class DJ, pretty much all the way around the world.
So this was a little bit of a platform. The LFL gave these ladies some exposure, and through help with people like Gridiron Beauties, these ladies have been exposed, and they have gotten something out of playing this ludicrous game. And I call it ludicrous because Martaza doesn't take care of the people very well with the injuries and things like that. So when you put your neck on the line like that and you don't get anything in return, it's nice to know somewhere down the line maybe something good happened out of this, because I didn't see anything good yet, Oscar, in my end of the business. I've only had the injury people come on my show and show us the amount of injuries they sustained, and the mistreatment, Martaza, the verbal abuse. The list went on and on and on about this guy, man. Have you ever had any one-to-one dealings with Mitch Martaza?
I will have to say I have not. I have emailed him, on occasion a couple times, not directly to him, but obviously to the media context on the official page. But I have not gotten any response back in terms of that. So I pretty much gave up at that point. Once I decided that there was going to be no interaction or support from the league in terms of anything that a fan would want to have, input on. So what we did is we swayed from that, and we just went into more of the player focus. And obviously the player is the key for us as fans. And, the player is going to make the league. The league does not, is not going to survive without the player. So given all that aspect, the injury side of it, I will have to say, he's a bright man. He created this brand. So I will have to give him credit for creating the brand. I just think the PR aspect of his league just needs to be fine-tuned with maybe someone else besides himself. I consider himself pretty much, I don't want to knock Al Davis down, but he's a pioneer for starting the league, but at the same time, sort of like the Raiders, where he stayed on too long and not let anybody else deal with circumstances. I think right now, we need to make sure that we just get out the word that obviously if there is an injury issue, which is a safety issue, we had the Triumph 20, issue that we already dealt with, and you've already enlightened us on. The Triumph 20 was probably the main focus of why this league still needs some changes to be made quickly, because if they're going international, laws are different in every country.
Well, the problem is if you get somebody like the Triumph 20 and the girls from Toronto that walked out of the Toronto Triumph team, Mitch Martaz is a spin artist, and he tries to put a different spin that these ladies weren't even professional athletes. But as you know, Oscar, these girls were phenomenal athletes. They were world-class athletes. Some of them were in Olympic Games. We had doctors, we had lawyers in Toronto. These were very well-educated women, and I guess that might had something to do with them leaving the Toronto 20, because these women were no pushovers. And then Martaza tries to put a spin on it that these were just women that were out for fame and glory. And what really kills me, just a few days ago, I see a tweet from Martaza that says, hey, use your celebrityism to do this or to do that or to give back to the community. The funny thing about this guy is 1 minute he's telling you he doesn't want any celebrities. The next minute he's trying to tell you use celebrityism. So, Martaza is always talking out of both sides of his face, it seems like.
You know what happens, Larry? It's a give and take. It's about intake. If you're struggling with intake, obviously he's got to refocus himself to a different avenue. But, the bottom line is Toronto is the perfect example of what he's not able to fix. And unfortunately, those ladies, like you said, they're very professional ladies, and they're at high-end, high-class fields. They understand what a formal league or a formal administration is supposed to supply. So when they got into the situation where the equipment was an issue and you're eliminating proper coaching, they obviously were, like you said, they're very bright women. They obviously decided to, want answers for why all these things are happening. So when that came about, obviously you got the result is, you got 20 women that obviously decided this is not something they're going to be a part of.
Well, the other end of the spectrum was that the girls in Toronto, the ladies, were telling me they couldn't even get legitimate referees to do the games in Canada because everybody that's a sanctioned Canadian referee would not subject anybody to this kind of a safety issue or concern. And, they wouldn't fall for Mitch Martaza's ways of communicating through the headset with the referees, telling them what calls not to make and what calls to make. And there's been a lot of people insinuating, and I repeat, insinuating, I have no proof of it, but there's been a lot of people insinuating that Martaza controls these lingerie football games by controlling the referees. And then he can have the outcome of the game go his way, who he wants to win a game. That's what people have told me. And I repeat, I have no proof of that. It's an alleged allegation. But other people have seen Mitch Martaza with the headset on at these LFL games, and all these referees check with him. I guess it just happened when the Tampa was playing the Orlando team a couple weeks ago. They said the referee calls were so awkward, so one way, it wasn't even funny, man. Did you hear anything like that, Oscar?
Yeah, I got feedback from a couple players that I'm not going to name, obviously, because obviously that jeopardizes their stance. But it just becomes a situation of when he feels that somebody needs to be in there. I mean, Tampa being more of an enlightened team, more of a staple team. You're not going to take an Orlando team that was 0-4 last year to which they've done great this year. and all of a sudden put them in a great situation in the playoff format in January, at the end of January, because a Tampa-Philadelphia matchup is a lot more viable than the Orlando-Philadelphia matchup. So, you got a viable key players on Philadelphia, staple names like Mary Rose Roach. You got, Liz Gorman on Tampa. So those are more common, well-known names that will bring somebody into the seedings versus somebody else on a team that obviously is not as well-known.
So it could be possible that Martaza is making the outcome come like he likes it to be, right?
That could be a possibility. I mean, we're in Vegas, so in Vegas, anything goes, right?
You never know, man. It's just sad that this guy owns all the teams in the LFL, and he influences the outcome. He can't even let the coaches and the ladies play without interfering with the outcome of the game. Oscar, one more time before I let you go, man. Give us that site again. Where do the fans go if they want to create their own LFL shirt? Tell us one more time, man.
If they want to fan support the players or any of that, they can create customizable shirts and hoodies at our website at www.zazzle.com/Gridiron Beauties. Thanks for the time, Larry. I really appreciate it, and I've been listening to your shows, and I really appreciate all your work, and I love the shows.
And the other thing is they can find your fan page on Facebook at Gridiron Beauties. Is that correct?
That's correct, and then we also have at Gridiron Beauty on Twitter as well.
Okay, Oscar. Hey, thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule out there. I bet it's nice in Monterey right now. It's at least, 4:30 in the afternoon right about now, 3:30 in the afternoon, and the sun's probably shining, huh?
Yeah, 60 degrees, no complaints.
Okay, buddy. Hey, thanks for calling in. Thanks for taking the time. We really appreciate it, and hopefully I'll be talking to you soon, and maybe we'll do this again sometime when you have some better news for us. Okay, man?
Awesome.
One more thing I'd like to bring up before I let you go, Oscar. Why don't these ladies all get together? Maybe you can stir the pot here a little bit. Why don't we put a collective bargaining agreement together for the LFL and have all the ladies group themselves together and we get something going so that these ladies have certain terms that need to be met? Why don't you try to round them up, Oscar?
We got things in the works, Larry, so future dates and future times we might be having a different conversation.
Well, you call LG anytime, buddy, okay?
All right, Larry, thank you.
All right, man, have a great night. Thanks for taking the time out. Gridiron Beauties, ladies and gentlemen, Oscar Lopez. Hey, we're going to take about a 3-minute break from the Cleveland Sports 360 show right here on the West Bank of the Flats at the beautiful Cleveland Talk Sports Studios on the West Bank of the Flats. Don't forget, when we come back in about 3 minutes, we're going to have Indians relief pitcher Vinny Pestano joining us live on the phone all the way from Phoenix, Arizona. We'll be right back. Don't forget, if you haven't done it yet, tax season's right around the corner. You got to give Vicky Manarino a call and get yourself a portfolio put together. It's not too late. $75.50 today. Give her a call, or you can call her toll free at 888-289-7550. That's 888-289-7550. We'll be right back with more of the Cleveland Sports 360 show in about 2 minutes and 30 seconds with Vinny Pestano, Indians pitcher.
And I can't rest, and I won't rest. down the road, and the rest of the day I wanted to explode because I've lost my faith in the human race. I wanna go to a different place. When I got home, I sat and stared into the television and wondered if this undisputed fact was fiction, and all I felt was evil creeping in because I've lost my faith in the human race. I wanna go to a different place. What you have done to me, shaking my belief. The news, no way it was real, it just couldn't be true. So I decided then and there to hear it straight from you.
Hey, welcome back to more of the Cleveland Sports 360 show. We're coming at you live from the West Bank of the Flats of the beautiful ClevelandTalkSports.com studios. Joining us live on the phone, all the way from Phoenix, Arizona, one of the most consistent relief pitchers the Cleveland Indians had during the 2011 injury-plagued season. Ladies and gentlemen, Vinny Pestano. Vinny, you there, buddy?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. How you doing, Vinny?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Hey, thanks for coming, man. We really appreciate it. Like I said, one of the most consistent pitchers coming out of the bullpen. Vinny, I know last year was a breakout season for you. Tell us, what do you think? What do you think's going to happen in 2012, man? You guys must really be looking forward to this, huh?
Definitely. Some more bodies are starting to come into the complex here in Goodyear, so the vibe's picking up is a good spark. A lot of guys are getting real excited to kick off the season.
Now, you're in Phoenix right now, and obviously you live there during the off season. How far is it from where you're living to the ballpark? Do you do a little jog there every morning? How does that work for you, Vin?
The past two off seasons, I had a apartment about 1.5 miles away. This off season, I just bought a house about 2 miles away, so I'm real close, right by the complex.
Hey, Vinny, you've been with the Cleveland Indians organization right out of college. You went to what, California State University?
Yes, sir, Fulton.
And then you got drafted by the Cleveland Indians, right?
Yes, sir.
And a lot of people don't realize, but since 2007, you've been riding the bus, huh?
Yeah, I've been. I was on a few buses for a couple of years, but everybody's got to pay their dues.
Absolutely, man, and it looks like you paid a hell of a price because we got a great pitcher in Vinny Pestano. That's what I think anyways, man. And your numbers proved it. Last year you sported a 2.32 ERA. That's pretty decent. You started out, you seen all the minor league parks, and the Indians organization really did a nice job close to my home. They have the Lake County Captains. You did a little bit of time there, didn't you, Vinny?
Yes, sir. I was recently, last year, put in their Hall of Fame, so that was fun. Personally for me. So, the Cleveland organization from, Mahoning Valley, where I started, all the way up into AAA, I mean, we've got fantastic facilities, fantastic places to play, and great place to see baseball games.
And you've seen just about of them that's available. You were with the Akron Arrows, the Columbus Clippers. We already mentioned the Lake County Captains. You did some time in Kingston, right?
Yes, sir. I hit every stop on the way up.
What was your favorite minor league spot that you spent some time in, Vin?
You know what? Favorite would have to be Columbus. That park had just opened up. I think it was a year old when I played there, and just the atmosphere there. They pack them in real well. They get 12,000 a game there, and up until that point in my career, that's the most I'd ever played in front of in professional baseball. So that was really exciting to get out there day in and day out playing in front of those fans.
Now, Vinny, are you like the Clevelanders around here that they have their calendars on their refrigerator and every day they put another X on it, and it's so many? Like, what are we at now? About 40? How many days until the pitchers and the catchers report to Goodyear?
Put me on the spot here.
I think it's about 47, 48.
I think we're around 42, 43 maybe.
Yeah, somewhere. I know it's in the 40s, so it's really just a little over a month away before the pitchers and the catchers go back to the Goodyear Park to start up again, man. And how much are you looking forward to that, Vinny?
I'm looking forward to it a great deal. This is what I live for, the whole baseball season. So the 8.5 months, you're out fall and spring training, and during the season and stuff like that, you get those 3.5 months to improve yourself and get better for next year. So I'm excited to see what steps I've made towards becoming a better baseball player going into this year with the work I put in so far.
Well, I'll tell you, Vinny, I hope it keeps excelling because you really brought some excitement to the team last year, man. It was a pleasure to watch you go out there and throw the ball. And I just want to ask you a couple of questions. First of all, what makes a relief pitcher, Vinny? I mean, why aren't you a guy that starts the baseball game, man? Explain that to our listeners, will you?
I got put in the bullpen at a high school when I went to college. As a starter, I burned through my pitch count pretty quickly and tax guys like me now. So I kind of got in the groove of just going out there for an inning or, an inning plus and just burning it out, throwing as hard as I can for as long as I can. I've become very comfortable with it. And on top of that, it goes with, your pitching repertoire. If you have 5 pitches or 2 pitches, you have 5, you're more suited for starting role. The less pitches you have, you're more suited towards relief pitching.
Now, Vinny, how fast is your fastball, man?
Oh, wow. I don't know. Anywhere from like 89 to 95, I think.
But your location seemed to be phenomenal, man.
I mean, I try to miss those bats. I try to do my best.
Hey, with a 2. What'd you finish last year? 2.32 ERA, and you're only 2.42 lifetime in the major leagues. I think you're missing those bats fairly well, man. Hey, let me ask you. One of the fans asked me to ask you a couple of questions. First of all, why is it that you sprint in from the bullpen to the pitcher's mound when it's your time to come out, man?
It kind of goes back to college. My first appearance coming out of the bullpen, that was my first time. I was a starter in high school. And they called my name, and I was just real pumped up, and I took off. And just kind of been doing it ever since. And now I use it as a tool to, get my heart rate up, get in the moment a little bit, get the legs loose.
So basically that's a tool to get you psyched up to get in there and face that batter, right?
Yes, very much so.
And, Vinny, let me ask you, when it comes to being a relief pitcher or a closer, what are you feeling more comfortable with, man?
Very comfortable in the late innings. I like the fact that I worked myself into the setup role last year with Tony Sipp. I think, down the road, I'd love to get a shot at closing. If my career takes me that way, I feel like I'm well suited for it. But right now, the way this team is and the way we're drawn up, we're very solid in all areas of the pen. So I'm very happy right now with where I'm at.
Yeah, because I saw you close a couple of games last year, and you made some funny comments about it, man, like you were a nervous wreck getting in there to close.
I mean, those kind of got misconstrued.
Right.
I saw them, too, and those kind of made me a little upset because it kind of made me seem scared. But
no, I didn't think you were scared. I thought you were being more like a comedian myself, because to me, you present a little bit of humor out there, too, when you make some statements. Like, I don't take it that serious.
I mean, I try not to be real serious. This is a game we're playing after all, and I try and take my liberties with all that. But something got construed last year as I had some things interpreted me from interviews that I was I wanted to quickly get rid of the job and give it back to CP, which
no, I took it as you were being funny myself.
Yeah.
I thought it was hilarious when you said that, man. I don't know if you ever saw the articles I've written on the Cleveland Sports 360 website about Vinny Pestano, but they've always been favorable articles, man. So if you ever get some time, you might have to go back and find the Indians page on the Cleveland Sports 360 website. And they've always been great articles because you've always pitched a great game as far as I'm concerned. Hey, Vinny, let me ask you, man, and I know I'm putting you on the spot here, but what's going on with Fausto Carmona, man? Is he going to come back to where you think he needs to be, or what was his problem last year, the inconsistency? How does that happen to a guy like him? Do you have any ideas?
You know, from year to year, pitchers, you know, they struggle with things, and, you know, that's why guys get paid so well in this game is consistency. You're going to get the same thing year after year out of this guy until, you know, it gets to the point where his performance level, you know, his age catches up with anything, whatever. But, you know, Fausto, he's a great competitor, and there's nobody working harder on our staff last year than Fausto Carmona about making adjustments in between starts, you know, working with release points, working with mechanics. I mean, he was in the bullpen all the time working on new things, trying to get it fixed. So it's kind of behind-the-scenes stuff that you don't see, that you kind of just, you know, you want results out of stuff, but it just doesn't come that easy sometimes. It's like a hitter going through a slump and you immediately want to jump out of it by switching something with your stance or where you hold the bat, or, you know.
Well, I hope
it's a weird game, and I'm looking forward to the season. I'm looking forward to seeing Fausto bounce back.
I'll tell you right now, they work on Carmona's running ability if he has to hit anymore. That trip to first base damn near killed him last season, man. So hopefully when you guys get to Goodyear, don't forget to remind Fausto to take a couple trips to first base just in case he has to hit, you know?
Yeah, I think this time around I probably have him drop the bunt down and then just stand there.
Yeah. Now, is it because of Vinny Pestano was in the Cleveland Indians ballpen? Did that have anything to do with the Bull Pen Mafia tag that was put on there?
You know, the whole thing behind Bull Pen Mafia kind of started on Twitter. I don't even know where it originated. We've tried to find out. There's been a couple people that stepped forward as the creators, but nobody really knows. It was just kind of one day in Chicago. Me and Justin Germano were walking to breakfast, and he had showed me this hashtag. It said Bull Pen Mafia on it. So we started playing with it a little bit, and, you know, it caught some steam, and it's been a nice little gimmick for us.
That was a funny name, though, but I thought maybe because of the Pestano there, you know, the Italian boy coming in there. I mean,
I don't want to say it doesn't help, but, you know, having you know, my name in there kind of gives it a little more legs, I guess.
So there's probably some guys in the major leagues that are afraid of Vinny Pestano because if they hit you too hard, you're going to whack them, right, man?
I don't know if there's anybody real afraid of me right now. I think they're still trying to figure me out. So,
that's good, man. Hey, Vinny, what do you think about the Ubaldo Jimenez, man? I mean, obviously he came into the Indians organization. He was under a microscope. The Indians were just making the transition from winning the entire first half. I mean, you guys were having a lot of fun before the All-Star break, man. And then the team was plagued with injuries, and they looked towards, Jimenez in there and maybe do a few things. And I mean, what is this guy off, a millimeter or something? I mean, what is it with a pitcher? You're just talking a little bit of something. Is that right?
I mean, everybody's got a different motion. Everybody's got different mechanics and stuff like that. And with a guy like Baldo, who's got, you know, in pitch mechanics, he still is a little unorthodox. So having him repeat for anybody, let alone him. But you know, Baldo's got great stuff. He's going to bring a strikeout presence to our starting rotation. And I don't know, like, we've got so many guys that I'm looking forward to seeing once the season kicks off and seeing how they react. I mean, Ubaldo and Fausto bouncing back, and the addition of Derek Lowe, you know, we've got a bunch of guys in a lot of great spots, a lot of potential, and I'm really excited for the season to start.
Oh, man, you can't believe how excited the Indians fans are that I've talked to. And I talked to quite a few of them, Vinny. And I think you guys are going to do all right this year, man. But, like, when you're talking about Jimenez's mechanics a little bit there, like, his fastball used to be up around 101 miles an hour, anywhere from 98 to 101. And when you start changing mechanics, does that lose a little bit of velocity on your fastball, or how does that work?
Well, with Ubaldo, he was dealing with some finger issues last year that, pitching, relies so much on the feel of a baseball and the comfortability of your hand that, anything can happen. And sometimes things get in your head and mentally affect stuff. So, you can try all the drills you want and everything else, but there's also the mental aspect of the game that you've got to keep your eye on, too.
Yeah, that's absolutely. You just need a little bit of lack of confidence, and you're probably shot for a couple of games, huh? Hey, Vinny, what do you think about this year coming up? It was almost like last year. I'm surprised they didn't ask a few guys from the bullpen to play the outfield, but this year it looks like we're going to do all right. We're going to have Michael Brantley back, and, what do you think about this Shelley Duncan all of a sudden finding that power? Near the end of the season last year, Duncan was unstoppable with a bat in his hands, man. What do you attribute that to?
You know what? Shelley started getting some more consistent at-bats. That's what I was looking for. He started getting more consistent at-bats. He wasn't coming off the bench, to hit off somebody. He was getting those 2, 3, 4 at-bats a game, and he started getting a little bit of a groove. And that's great to see for him because he's a great guy. He's a great teammate. He's definitely one of the leaders in the clubhouse and somebody that everybody feeds off of.
I bet you guys were glad to see Grady re-sign with the team, huh?
Yeah, Grady's a huge asset. Coming to spring healthy off the shoot is going to be huge for our club, and having him back and around the park has been great for us.
I'll tell you one thing, Vinny. If I was the general manager of the Cleveland Indians, one thing I would make sure of is that Grady Sizemore does not bring his girlfriend into Progressive Field whatsoever, because I don't want you guys getting distracted with that, man. You know what I mean?
Well, it's his fiance now, so she's definitely friend status to anybody on the team.
So you guys already been told stay away, right?
Yeah, that's unwritten rule.
Absolutely, man. But, yeah, I don't want to hopefully he doesn't bring her around too much, because guys will be definitely taking their eye off the ball if that happens, man. So
you guys will play harder because they're trying to impress her so that she'll introduce, them to some of her friends.
Oh, so that's how it works. You guys will be playing tougher this season, huh? That would be.
There you go.
Maybe we should put her right in center field then, huh? So, Vinny, you think the ballpen's going to have the same kind of intensity this year that we saw last year, man?
I definitely think so. Just from the personalities that we have down there, everybody wants the ball and everybody wants to do what they can to help the team win. And whatever role that is for that person, they're very good at it. We match up very well in the late innings with teams being able to switch left and right with me, Raffy, Sip, and Joe, and then you hand the ball to night, and that seems to be like a pretty good formula for us.
Yeah, that Joe Smith seems like a pretty intense guy too, man. I spent a little bit of time talking to him hanging over the wall of the bullpen last year. What was your guys' feelings when they brought Jim Thome back? What did that mean to the Cleveland Indians, the players themselves, to see a guy like Jim Thome come walking in there, man?
It was pretty interesting. I was sitting there in the hot tub, and in walks Jim Thome. We had heard that we had acquired him, obviously, but I'm sitting in the hot tub, in walks Jim Thome, and he starts striking up a conversation with me and starts talking about a at-bat I had against him earlier in the year. And that's just his personality. He's a very outgoing person, and he was a great guy to have around the clubhouse, share stories with, bounce stuff off of. And we did that statue presentation for him. That was pretty special.
Yeah, Thome had a lot of good years, and the Indians had a lot of good years back in those days, man, with Sandy Alomar and the Roberto Alomar. We had some great players come through Cleveland, man, and I think we have a bunch of great guys this year, and we had them last year too, and I'm looking forward to to another great season, man. And hopefully, I mean, Vinny, come on, man, even through high school or college, did you ever play on a team that had so many freak injuries, man?
You know what? Injuries are part of the game. You know, Mark Shapiro has a saying that I can't reiterate on the air, but it basically means that you know, nobody cares about injuries. At the end of the day, it's the win and loss column. So you can't use injuries as a crutch. What we can do is look at the fact that we got a lot of guys, a lot of at-bats, and a lot of work because of those injuries, and that's going to make us a lot stronger depth-wise going into this year.
Well, I think part of that was we saw Jason Kipnis get called, man, and he really filled in very well at second base, and this guy unleashed some power in his bat, man. What'd you guys think of when Kipnis started producing at the plate, man?
You know, I've known Kipnis for a couple years now, and I was real excited to see him get his chance last year. And just have to love the level of play he's got. You know, he's scrappy. He comes from a college that I played a lot in college, and the whole program is built around guys, you know, taking extra bases and getting dirty and stuff like that. And it's really fun to watch him play and know that, you know, he's going to be sticking around for a while, and he's going to be anchoring down second base for us.
Well, that'd be phenomenal, man, because that guy has some power in his bat. Now, did you spend some time in the minors with Kipnis on the same team at all? Did that ever happen?
When he came up in 2010 for the AAA playoffs, that's the first time I got to play with him. But I've known him for a couple years now. Did
he exhibit any kind of a power in his bat like we seen this year back in the minor league, or what?
Oh, yeah. Definitely. In the championship game, he hit for the championship series, rather, he hit for a cycle against the Durham Bulls. I think it was the Durham Bulls. It might have been in the actual national championship game. It was one of the last ones of the year, but he's definitely a special player and somebody that I'm glad to have on our side.
Now, at the end of last season, we found out that Tim Belcher was stepping down as the Tribe's pitching coach. What kind of an impact, if any, is that going to have on the bullpen, man, or the pitching or the starters? Shed a little bit of light on that, will you?
It's tough to lose a guy like Belch who's got so much experience pitching at the big league level, but if there's anybody more prepared for taking over a pitching side of a team than Scott Radisky, it'd be tough to find. Rad's been in every bullpen with every starter. He's very well dialed into all of our guys. I don't think we're going to skip a beat because of the way that Rad is and the way that him and Belcher worked last year with everybody. So I'm excited to have him, be the pitching coach. Obviously, we've got Dave Miller, who was our minor league pitching coordinator, moving into the bullpen coach role. So it's fun to see him get that opportunity too, because we worked together for 3.5 years in the minor leagues, and it's fun to see him get that chance too. Oh,
so you have some comfortable acquaintances that they're bringing up. So you're not even going to miss a beat, right?
Trying not to.
Hey, Vinny, let me ask you something, man. I've never been in the clubhouse with Manny Acta, but do they pass out pills to this guy before the game starts? How the hell does he stay so calm, man? Explain that to me. Is he always as calm as we see Manny Acta in the dugout?
He is for the most part, and I think that's kind of what he's trying to do. I think if he feels that he's always, exuding that calm, cool confidence, that the team will kind of take that personality too, and I think to a certain extent we do.
Well, I'll tell you the truth, man. I'm glad I'm not you're probably glad too that I'm not a major league manager, because I don't know how you can leave a pitcher in there when you're getting 6 runs down, and I'd be yanking you guys left and right, man. And I tell you, Manny Acta doesn't even look like he breaks a sweat. I don't know how the guy does it, man. So I was wondering if there was some kind of chill pill he takes before the game. So does this guy ever raise his blood pressure in the locker room or the clubhouse or anything?
He gets excitable every now and then, but very few and far between.
Yeah, because even when he comes out and contests the call with the umpire, he seems to have a certain calmness to him that was unbelievable, second to none, really. Hey, Vinny, I really want to take this opportunity to thank you for taking time out season and spend a little time with me on the Cleveland Sports 360 show. And I'd like to have you, once the season starts, Vinny, if you have a Monday night open during the regular season, come on down and join us live on the set here and maybe even bring one or two of your buddies with you. What do you think, man?
Yeah, as soon as I get a night off, it could definitely be a possibility.
That would be great, Vinny. Like I said, I really appreciate you spending the time with us. I'll send you a link how you can re-see the show, Vinny, and share it with your family and friends. And I wish you much continued success with the Cleveland Indians. And I look forward to seeing you down at Progressive Field first thing this spring, okay?
Yes, thank you very much for having me. Anybody that found out about the interview on Twitter, thanks for following me. I appreciate it. We're growing, guys. I think we're only 25,000. We'll catch up to CP. So here we go.
Yeah, let's follow Vinny Pestano. Give him a shout out. How do they follow you, Vinny?
Just go on Twitter at VinnyP52.
There you have it,
That's
folks. At VinnyP52, and that's Vinny Pestano. So, Vinny, get back to your training. I'll talk to you soon, and I'll give you a ring, and I'll send you the link so you can revisit the show. And good luck to you guys in 43 days when you start throwing the ball again, okay?
Sounds good. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Vinny Pestano, ladies and gentlemen, Indians relief pitcher extraordinaire. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have an exciting season coming up here. I can't wait. Indians. Don't forget, the Cleveland Sports 360 show will be back here next Monday at 6 o'clock, and we're going to be joined live in the house by the Browns bunch. We're going to be talking Cleveland Browns draft. We're going to get the Browns bunch viewpoint. Obviously, these guys reach a lot of fans. They're going to critique what Holmgren and Heckard should do. It should be a real interesting show next week. So tune in. Don't forget, Wednesday night, my man Kenyon Johnson, Errol Porter, and the beautiful Kenya Huff at Flavor Bistro at 1975 Lee Road in Cleveland Heights from 5 to 7, $1 beers. That's any beer you want. 35-cent wings. And the party starts at 5 o'clock with the Cleveland TalksSports.com crew every Wednesday at Flavor Bistro. Again, come back Friday, 3 to 5, Unsportsmanlike Conduct, live right here in the Cleveland Talk Sports studios on the west bank of the Flats. Kenyon, you got anything you want to say, man? What do you think of that Vinny Pestano? He's one hell of a pitcher,
You
isn't
know
he?
what? One heck of a pitcher and one heck of a gentleman. Just listening to him, you can see that this guy's going to be around for a long time. And it's nice to have good guys like that playing with Cleveland across his chest.
Well, I tell you, I'm excited, and I tell you right now, man, I knew he was kidding around last year when the press sometimes take things out of context.
Yeah.
But Vinny Pestano is one hell of a pitcher, and the Cleveland Indians are very lucky to have a young guy like him. And he's a young guy, too. He's going to be around for years, man.
I'm very interested to see how the Indians are going to bounce back and hopefully stay healthy to see what they can do. Kind of struggled late in the season against Detroit Tigers, number one. If they can figure out a way to beat this team, man, I think the Indians could go far this year.
Well, I'll tell you, Kenyon, they were plagued with injuries, and as Vinny said, Vinny Pestano just shed a little light. You can't really, injuries are a part of the game.
Exactly.
You can't dwell on the injuries. At the end of the day, it's the win and the loss. But when you're, we didn't even have an outfielder back then, man.
Right.
We were scratching our heads just trying to find somebody to play center field. I mean, hopefully we're going to see a healthy Grady Sizemore. One thing I like is Grady had enough sense to come back and sign a contract that's incentive-based. He's going to have to produce if he wants his money, man.
And he put the coffee cups away. Appreciate that too, Grady.
And you want to know something? Did you see his girlfriend, man? The Playboy
Hot.
model?
Hot.
He's got to make the money now, man.
That's hot.
Or she'll dump him.
That's hot.
No, really, Grady's a nice guy. We just need a healthy Grady Sizemore. I'm not really sure what we're going to do with Travis Hafner, but I'm looking forward to an Indian season. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, if you've never done it, you have to take the time out of your life and give Vicky Manarino a call over at Raymond James. If you want a retirement portfolio or if you want to get some tax shelter, you still have time to do it, I believe, till April. Vicky Manarino at Raymond James can tell you how to do it. 440-516-7550 or toll free 888-289-7550. We haven't done this yet because of Kenyon's busy schedule and my busy schedule. But we got to get over to Andalaro's, Kenyon. When are we going to do that, man?
We're going to get over there very, very soon, man. I may get over there without you.
Well, you call me, man.
Yeah, I will. I
only
definitely
live
will.
right down the street. I'll zoom right over there for some.
Yeah, I was really
Andalaro's.
thinking about Andalaro's yesterday. Really, really big. I just didn't want to take the drive, but I was really thinking about it yesterday.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, Andalaro's, A Taste of Sicily. It's in Willowick, Ohio, 30610 Lakeshore Boulevard. If you like Italian food, if you like pizza, but this is a full Italian restaurant, full bar, reasonable prices. There's not an entree on the menu over $14. They got beautiful pizzas. He makes about 30 different kinds of pizzas, 15 traditional pizzas. He's got about 25 gourmet-style pizzas. And I don't know how the guy makes it so good, but you got to eat one. It's 30610 Lakeshore Boulevard, Willowick, Ohio. They can deliver you full menu. 440-516-5090. Again, that's 440-516-5090. If you're having a wedding, a bridal party, you name it, Andalaro's can handle it. Give my man Marco a call over at Andalaro's. If you got legal problems, you need legal advice, maybe just a last will and testament, maybe a DUI, God forbid, or you got hurt in an accident and you don't know what to do, give Larry Hupertz a call, attorney at law, 216-378-2130, or you could catch him on his cell phone at 216-789-2092. Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget Wednesday night, get the Flavor Bistro for one of the best sports black parties. What kind of having a hood party?
A hood party.
We're having a hood
What did
party.
you call it? A black party?
A black.
Oh, I thought
black.
you called it a black
Not
party.
black.
A hood
black.
party. All right.
A black party, man.
All right. It's a hood party. That's a black party. Go
Hey,
ahead.
don't forget, next Monday, 6 to 7 p.m., the Browns Bunch right here. We'll see you next week. More of the Cleveland Sports 360 show. Good night, everybody, and thank you, Vinny Pestano.